Hi, I'm Heather Schnoebelen, the Vice President of Clinical Services at Onsite Workshops. And what that means is I have the honor and privilege of working with our guides who work with individuals every day on dealing with and healing what is going on in their world. And we often get the question of, why am I stuck in my life? Why do I keep sabotaging myself? Do you often find yourself sabotaging good things that happen to you? Maybe it's a relationship, an opportunity for work, something with health and wellness or spirituality. So at Onsite, we see people every week that think that they're their own worst enemy. And there's so much more at play there. So many things from our childhood and growing up and through adolescence and young adulthood. And we're gonna look at those patterns today and talk about them. We're gonna do an activity now. So if I can get you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. And then I want you to just take a couple of deep breaths. And I want you to take a minute to connect in with your center, the place in your system that you carry your strength. I want you to take just a couple of deep breaths into that place. And as you're breathing from that place and that strength, I want you to remember a time recently that you maybe sabotaged something that was nourishing and helpful for you in your life. I want you to write down the things that you notice in your body as you think about that moment and sabotaging yourself. What are the feelings that you're aware of? And then lastly, if you had to take your best guess, what prompted you to sabotage yourself? Like, what was it internally that pushed you to make the decision you made? So one of the things that I think is important to talk about when we think about sabotaging ourselves is that at the root of it, part of my belief is this self-worth and the lack of believing that we deserve good things or that we are good people. If we don't believe that we are good people, when some opportunity happens, then I'm quick to dismiss it or say, oh, I don't deserve to do that. I carry this belief that I am not worthy of good things. And so therefore, I look for small ways to sabotage what's happening in my life, whether it's starting a fight with somebody that is really important to me and that is a healthy relationship. Maybe it's turning in something for work a little bit later because I don't believe I deserve this promotion. And so those are all really important things to think about how we sabotage ourselves. And again, for me, at the root of it is, am I worthy of this exciting opportunity? Am I worthy of good? And when we operate from a lens of unworthiness, it really impacts how we show up and what we can do for ourselves in a healthy and sustaining and moving forward kind of way. So self-worth, it's something that builds in all avenues of our life, in our friendships, in school, in sports, any hobbies that we may have from our parents, from our grandparents, from our siblings. And so all of those relationships start to build our self-worth. And if something happens that isn't uplifting or connective, it can start to then cause us to question ourselves. Like, oh, is something wrong with me that I didn't make the starting team? Is something wrong with me that my best friend is now mad? And so we start to internalize this and create blame of ourselves and questioning, are we at fault? What's going on with me? And that can start to just chip away at our self-worth. So when I think about self-worth, I'm going to connect it to this concept of guilt and shame. And so when we come from a place of feeling guilt, it's that I've done something wrong or something bad, and I can fix that. And shame is, I am bad, I am wrong. And so when we start looking at it from that perspective, that also can start to erode our self-worth. There are times in our lives we are all going to make decisions that we wish we wouldn't have made, and we may be beating ourselves up and calling ourselves a bad person. And so it's really important that we repair in those moments. Oftentimes when we start doing work, we may say, oh my gosh, I can see all the things that I'm doing. And then we hold the others to that same standard instead of being able to meet them and say, can we have connection and can we talk about this dynamic that we have going on? Also, when we're talking about self-worth and we're starting to discover our self-worth and own it and step into our value, it doesn't mean that we devalue the people across from us, because they also have worth and value. And so how do we step into our worth and value without devaluing the people that are sitting across from us? So oftentimes in our lives, good things that happen to us or opportunities that are nourishing and connecting don't feel safe to us. And that's because our nervous system isn't used to receiving them. So if I grew up in a family system or in a school system or with friends where there wasn't a lot of connection and nourishment, or maybe it was highly competitive and it was only about what I could produce, my nervous system isn't used to being nurtured. And so when I receive nurturing from someone, it is totally unfamiliar to me. And so my system is going to reject and push against that at first because it makes no sense to me. That's not how I receive love. I receive love through criticism and holding me to these really high standards. And so it's just unfamiliar. And I'm not going to understand it and I'm not going to receive it because my system doesn't equate that to safety. So every week, people step onto our campus with a heaviness about decisions they've made or decisions they haven't made, which is also a decision in and of itself. And what we really want them to know is it's not what is wrong with you, it's what's right with you. It is so important. One of the first things that we talk about is how do we start to embrace and take care of ourselves and meet our needs and value who we are and have some self-compassion. So some of those ways that you can do that and that we do that here is slowing down, taking time to be with yourself, to be reflective, to connect in without judgment to what's happening for you. Notice what you're feeling. Notice how you talk to yourself. Notice how you talk to others. And just really slowing all that down, because the important piece about all of this healing is how do you connect to yourself with compassion and kindness and love, and how do you connect with others with compassion and kindness and love? Because we are all walking this journey and we have all made decisions and do things on a daily basis, at least I do, that I am not proud of. And how do I give myself compassion as a human being and help hold myself accountable to growth and connection and reconnection with the people in my life that are important? So oftentimes, and I'll speak from my life, and I know that it happens for other people as well, oftentimes when I find myself being self-critical or thinking that I'm not worthy, I have regressed into a younger version of myself. And so part of what is so important is that I recognize in those moments that that's not me. It's not me as the age I am today. It is me at 12 years old, 7 years old, 6 years old. And to have compassion for myself and that part of me that's showing up, because that part of me is really trying to protect me in those moments. And me shaming that part of me or getting angry at that part of me is not going to be helpful in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it's just going to make that part bigger. And it's going to make whatever situation I am in that much worse. And so taking a moment when I notice myself responding and reacting in a way that is not characteristic of who I am today, it's in that moment taking a breath immediately, pausing, and asking for a moment to step away so that I can reconnect in to who I am and what is my truth now and take care of that younger part of me. My hope for you in listening to this today is that you've seen a small piece of yourself in something that I've said or shared. And I want you to know that we have people every week come to our workshops that have recognized that small piece that they would like to work on. A few of our workshops that really get to address the things that we've talked about today are our Living Centered program and our Healing Trauma program. And it focuses on those core parts of our lives when we were younger in our family of origin and growing up that really imprinted us in a way that no longer serves us today, that is no longer helpful. It was at one point in time, but it is not now. The Healing Trauma Program and the Living Centered Program really address those pieces and parts that are ready to be shifted and changed and healed. You come to the beautiful campus in Tennessee or in California, we take care of everything for you, and we nurture and support you in your work to grow and to heal. You are with a group of people, a small group of people, 6 to 8 people, who are also on this journey with you. You have a therapist that guides you through the process, and it is the full time you are here, everything else is taken care of. We take care of your food, we take care of your lodging, we take care of cleaning your room for you so that you can really slow down and be nurtured and nourished as you do the healing. And so if this is something that feels like you're ready to do, is to take the next step and figure out what keeps me stuck, what keeps me sabotaging myself. We would love to have you. We'd love to have you join our campus and join all that we do here and walk with you through this journey. And if you want to click the link below and schedule a call, please feel free to do that. We would welcome you here. So I'm going to leave you off today with a simple self-compassion meditation to use in the moments that it feels really important for you to have compassion for yourself and someone else. So this is the meditation. I'm going to ask that you take 2 breaths down into your belly, feet flat on the floor. And I want you to again find that place on your body where your strength comes from. And just continue to breathe in your normal pattern for the next 10 seconds. And so with your hand on that place that is your center and your strength, I want you just to hear these words and just keep breathing. May you feel kindness and compassion. May you feel connection and love. May you find joy and peace. And so as you hear those 3 things, just continue to breathe. May I feel peace and ease. May I feel kindness and connection. And may I feel joy and peace. And just take a couple more breaths in that space. And just come back into the room. And so this is a tool in the future when you find yourselves in those moments, is to stop, take a couple of breaths, remove yourself from the situation, and go have a loving kindness moment with yourself. Because when we have loving kindness for ourselves and self-compassion for us, it also helps us connect to others with more compassion and more care.